Hi guys. As you can see, there's like big one and two pimples here, but please don't mind it. Forget about it. Pretend that there's nothing. It's normal face, ordinary face. So today I wanted to talk about I took a memo, so I will read it out loud first. So if you want to change your external, then you're gonna have to work on your internal. It's confusing, right? It seems it doesn't do anything, but we are the creation of our own world we see. We're seeing our world in a way we want to see it as. Perhaps what we see, material things, is the same, but how we perceive, the way we take these things is totally different for each person. Also, our external is reflecting back our internal. Yet, when we want external things to change, we try to change it outside of us first. That's why we end up not changing it. Or it might work, but it's just temporary since it's not changing the root of the problem. Problem. Always remember B do have in this order. B, imagine and install, and B, that version of you already have things you want, like your goals and desires and achievements, etc. And do, act like as if you already have things you want. Then you will get the actual tangible things you are looking for. Have. That's was my memo, and a lot of the times when I try to make a change in my reality, obviously I'm gonna work on my reality, external things. So I will try to build up some sort of skills to improve, to change for the better. It's nice that you are actually taking action to change yourself, solve the problem, and change the reality for yourself. That's really wow, you are awesome. But I think from my experience, I think, when we want to change external, like I said in the memo, but we need to work on our internal within us first. Because, in my experience, maybe I was too lazy. Maybe that wasn't for me. Reasons could be whatever, because the reasons could be whatever why it didn't work for me. But I tried to build up my skills, especially iOS. Back then I was really interested in coaching. I wanted to be a coach. I was fascinated the idea of being coach. That's weird. But I was kind of wanted to be a coach. So, and I also tried to make money off of it. So I went to kind of school online to get qualified, or needs required skills, and be actually a coach. But it didn't work for me. I couldn't manage to finish it. And there's so many excuses I can come up with why I couldn't finish it. But at the end of the day, now that I think about it, I think my internal was the root of my problem. Why am I having trouble to pronounce problem? Problem. But and not just that, I tried computer science things, or any other something I was interested in, and something I could make big money off of it, but none of them worked. And I was maybe I'm just too lazy. I couldn't even finish one thing, so I'm just too lazy, and this is not for me. You know, all these excuses back then I had. But you know, it was meant to happen for me, to me. So now that I think about it, I really appreciate it. And I'm still using some sort of, how can I say? You know, these things I learned back then, I am still like, you know, using it, or, you know, it's really useful. So I don't think it was like waste of my time or nor my money. But you know, nothing worked until I worked, you know, my internal. I faced myself and I changed my internal first. And then a lot of things are like happening to purify or purging my life, my soul, my reality. You know, I took memo, but I don't know. I have no idea what do I need. What do I want to talk related to this topic? Your external, you're gonna have to work on internal. It's confusing. You know, but external things, that's only thing we can see, right? We can't see what we are thinking inside of my heart. You know, we cut here and open it, and we can't see, you know, what we are thinking, or you know, cut and open it and, like, you know, stare at my brain and see, oh, this person is thinking about this or that. You know, we can't do that, right? Like, duh, why did I say that? But so, like, we believe, like, we easily can tell or see or believe something we can see, actual, real, tangible thing. But, you know, we can't, like, you know, we need logic to understand or believe something not tangible to exist. What am I saying? Does that make sense? But you know, my internal, external, my internal. I want to talk about, you know, I want to give some of my experience. Like, you know, first thing popped into my head is confidence. You know, like, you know, like, oh my gosh. What? I was so mother freaking insecure about myself before, and I am maybe the version of myself at that moment, like, you know, who are really, really insecure about myself, who was really insecure about myself, would watch me starting my YouTube channel and talking to the camera and upload and actually putting these videos into the world, and he will be freaked out. Like, you know, no way this is happening. Like, you know, that's, you know, actually I've always wanted to do YouTube for a long time. You know, not just YouTube, you know, some sort of social media, you know, my own page. But like I said, I was so insecure by myself. So he will be like shocked. Like, no, he wouldn't believe it. And, you know, and sometimes I think it's crazy that I'm actually doing this. I was that insecure about myself before, and also, you know, I was talking like miserable. Like, I was, how can I say? You know, I used to be really critical to myself. I was self-hating. I was hating myself. I was hating myself a lot. Like, more than anyone. I hated myself the most back then. So I was always pessimistic. I was always insecure about myself. I was always, like, you know, blaming myself. I was always criticizing myself for everything that happens around me. And, you know, that obviously darkened my perspective. Like, you know, that obviously like messed up my, I guess I could say that, bring that as an example to talk about this. But I was always insecure about myself, like I said. So every time I try to try new things, because I wanted to change myself, I wanted to change my reality. So every time I try to try new things, external things, like material things, or external things, but I couldn't finish it because I was so insecure by myself, and I was blaming myself. I was criticizing myself. So, that obviously make me scared to do things. And, that obviously, that self-talk will make me unable to do certain things, to do new things, which I'm doing to try to change myself, change my reality. So that's why every time I try new things, but I couldn't finish it, and I couldn't believe myself like finishing or doing actual things and making money off of it. Like I said, you know building skills, for example, learning these skills and put it into work and make money off of it. I couldn't believe myself doing that. So obviously I couldn't do it. So, and I will be negative, because every time I try new things, but would I would say give up in halfway, or without me reaching my goals. So I will be negative, I will be insecure by myself, and that event will obviously make me more insecure about myself. So it was kind of like I was in the negative loop every time I try to change my external things. But I don't know why, but recently I think I changed a lot. Even I am, talking to you guys, to the camera, to you guys, and having my own YouTube channel, and me just yapping about things. That is kind of crazy. So, but reasons why I am able to do this is because I worked on my internal things, my within me, my mental, or my perspective, my perception, these things. It's kind of getting better, I guess. So yeah, I worked on my internal, and then now here I am, where I am, who I am right now. But this is not something I can like yap about very simply. It is kind of like complicated thing. I think I've done so many things to change my internal, but I guess I could say how to change my internal. But I don't really know what I did, because this transformation have been happening naturally, effortlessly. So I don't know what exactly I did to change my internal, but I think journaling, because I am writing this journal right here, and it's almost done. It's been exactly a year since I bought this journal, and I am writing so many, like what's going on in my mind, not just every day, but some, like when I feel like doing it, I try to write down, and I try to like plan things. I try to like take memos I learned from like YouTube videos I was watching at the moment, and I was sometimes look back on these like my journal, and like and it's so interesting, and I think this journaling helped me a lot to change my like, face myself and then, like, find what's wrong. What's wrong? What is going on within me, in my mind, and what is, like, stopping me from, like, from the life I want to live. Does that make sense? So yeah, journaling helped me a lot. It's not complicated. I am not doing, like, I literally just write down things I thought about, or, something popped into my head, or sometimes I really, like, like, when I'm going through, like, difficult time, hard time, then I will just, like, talk talk about, things I am thinking about. No one gets to see my journal, so, I be authentic. I be true to myself and write it down, what came through at that moment, and that, helped me a lot. So that's, and also these memos I read in my videos, I also journal these things, what I am experiencing, or, what I am thinking, what's in my plate, what's on my plate, what's going on in my mind, everything, what I was called to do, right? I wrote it down, and yeah, be the version of yourself who already have everything you want, and do, you know, as that version of yourself, install that version of yourself and imagine what that version of yourself would do, and actually do it, then you will have it, what you really want it. So be do have, please remember that. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe, yeah. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have mystical, magical, wonderful, great, awesome, amazing day, night, morning, whenever you're watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.